Okay, so now the topic is casual and a non-casual signal. Topic is casual and a non-casual signal. Casual and a non-casual signal. Okay, first, what is casual signal? If the signal is initiated at the positive side, okay, that is at positive time, and if it is moving towards infinite, is called as casual signal. Okay, what is the definition? If the signal is initiated, if the signal is initiated at the positive side means at the positive time index, positive side, and moving towards infinite means positive infinite. Okay, moving towards positive, that means plus infinite. Moving towards infinite is called casual signal. So for example, unit step function, say u of t minus 1, or say u of t minus 2, or for example say r of t minus 3, all are casual signal. So what about u of t minus 1? U of t minus 1 means at t equal to 1 it will start. Okay, then it will go towards infinite. Okay, that is the meaning of u of t minus 1. What do you mean by r of t minus 3? At t is equal to 3 it will start, then it will go to infinite. Okay, so this is r of t minus 3. So whatever may be the signal, now just we are drawing a basic signal. Okay, whatever may be the signal, if the signal starts at positive time index and if it goes towards right side, that means towards infinite, that is positive infinite, then that particular signal is classified as a casual signal. Then what is the other definition for casual signal? A signal is casual if x of t is equal to 0 for t less than 0. That is another way of defining the casual signal. Okay, that means whatever may be the signal, when the time index is negative, definitely the value of the signal is 0. Okay, whatever may be the signal, it may be a basic signal or it may be any other signal. Okay, so that is the another way of defining the casual signal. Okay, if the signal is casual, okay, definitely it should have 0 value when the time is negative. That is another definition for casual signal. Then non-casual signal. Non-casual signal. Okay, what is the definition? If the signal is initiated at negative side, okay, so if the signal initiated at negative side, and moving towards positive infinite towards positive infinite, called non-casual signal. So what is the example? So the example of non-casual signal is u of t plus 3, where the plus t, what is indicating? The signal is going towards right. But where the signal is starting, when it is t plus 3, the signal is starting at t is equal to minus 3. Okay, when you put u of t plus 3, what is the meaning? The signal is starting at t is equal to minus 3, but in which direction it is going? Left or right? Only right, because the time index is positive. So the signal will go towards this side. Okay, this is reference axis 0. Okay, then this is the value of graph for the u of t plus 3. Okay, or otherwise u of t plus 10, whatever may be. Okay, so these signals and all called as a non-casual signal. Okay, what is the definition? The signal has to start at the negative time index. Okay, but finally it has to go to the positive side. Okay, positive infinite. Okay, if the signal is like that, then that signal is called as non-causal signal. And what is the another definition? Okay, if x of t is non-zero, okay, if x of t is non-zero for, if x of t is non-zero for t less than 0, then that signal we are calling it as a non-causal signal. And also hidden factor here is, okay, the signal is not only going to the the signal is starting at negative, but it is going towards positive side. Okay, so x of t is non-zero, that's okay, non-zero at negative, but it is not only non-zero at negative, it is also non-zero at a positive. Okay, so the x of t is non-zero both negative and both positive. So actually, okay, so note here is x of t present on both side. Okay, actually if you see, they are giving the definition like this, but actually x of t is present on both time index, present on both time index. Okay, present on both time index. So this signal is a non-causal signal, but finally it is going towards positive side. What about the next signal? Anti-causal signal. The next one is anti-causal signal. Okay, so the definition is, if the signal is initiated at the negative side, if the signal is initiated, the signal is initiated at negative side, that means at negative time index, negative side, and moving towards minus infinite, moving towards minus infinite, called anti-causal signal, called anti-causal signal. Okay, example, u of minus t minus 2. Okay, u of minus t minus 2. So that means what? The signal minus t means definitely the signal is going towards left, that means with the negative time index. But where the signal is starting, minus t minus 2 is equal to 0, that means t is equal to minus 2. The signal is starting at a t is equal to minus 2, but finally it is going towards left side. Okay, going towards minus infinite, that is the idea. Okay, so going towards minus infinite. Okay, so this signal is anti-causal signal. So that means what? The signal, the signal is only present in the negative time index. Okay, the signal is present only in the negative time index. So you see here, if the signal is causal, it is present only in the positive time index. Okay, whereas if the signal is anti-causal, the signal is present only in the negative time index. The signal is present only in the negative time index. If it is non-causal, the signal is present in both positive as well as negative. Okay, so now and what is the other way for other definition for the anti-causal signal? Okay, so the x of t is 0 strictly when t greater than 0. Okay, strictly the x of t should be 0 when t greater than 0, then that signal will define as a anti-causal signal. So the next question is, okay, suppose there are some signal, okay, if it starts here, it goes like this. Okay, it is starting at positive but going towards negative. Okay, how to denote this one? U of, okay, minus t, okay, plus 3, for example, u of minus t plus 3. What about the nature of the signal? Okay, when the signal is like this, okay, it is starting at positive, because minus t plus 3 is equal to, means t is equal to 3. Okay, but it is going towards negative time index. Okay, so what about this nature of this signal? Okay, so that is my question, whether it comes under non-causal or not. Okay, just try to get the answer. Okay, so now there are three classification. In general, there are two, causal and non-causal, but strictly if the signal is going towards negative, only having the negative values, okay, then that signal we'll call it as a anti-causal signal. Okay, anti-causal signal. So the next classification of signal is stable and unstable signal. Okay, stable and unstable signal. Stable and unstable signal. Okay, so the other names for stable signal is bounded signal. Bounded signal. The other name for unstable signal is unbounded signal. Unbounded signal. Okay, so bounded signal or bounded input means stable input. Okay, stable and unstable signal. Stable means bounded, unstable means unbounded. Okay, so the first one, okay, first one, stable signal, stable or bounded signal. Okay, so we know there are basic signals like impulse signal, step signal, ramp signal, parabolic signal. Okay, out of these, some signals are bounded, some signals are unbounded. Okay, so first, what is the definition of stable or bounded signal? Okay, if the signal has finite value, okay, if the signal has finite value at all time, if the signal has finite value at all time means at all instant of time. Okay, so at all time means at all instant of time, that signal is called stable signal. So that means what? The amplitude is always finite. The amplitude is always finite. That means always in the sense at any instant of the time. Okay, at any instant, at any or at all instant of the time. Okay, at all instant of the time, at all instant of time, the amplitude of the signal is finite. Okay, can somebody tell me what is that signal? Can you tell me any one stable signal? At all instant of the time, amplitude is finite. Okay, you know there are some signals are there: impulse, step, ramp, parabolic. Which one will follow this condition? Anybody? The definition is the signal has finite value at all instant of time. Okay, so which signal follows this condition? Okay, so now the example for this one is, suppose I am having a signal like this. So exponentially decay signal, it is having a value 1, it decays like this. Okay, finally it reaches 0. Okay, so this signal nature x of t is equal to e power minus t. When you put t is equal to 0, the value is 1. When you increase the time, the value will decrease. Okay, this signal is stable signal because it is having some finite value. When t is equal to 0, it is having value 1. When t is equal to 1, it is having some value. When t is equal to 5, it is having some value. So it is having some finite value. Okay, some definite value. Okay, some definite value. The signal is having definite value at all instant of time. So that's why this signal is stable signal. Okay, this signal is stable signal. Okay, so so the other way to identify the stable signal is if the signal amplitude goes to 0. Okay, at when t tends to infinite, that signal could be a stable signal. Okay, because if you see here, if you find out the area under this signal, definitely it will be finite. Okay, if area under the signal is finite, then that signal could be a stable signal. Okay, then that signal could be a stable signal. So this signal is a stable signal. Okay, because it is having finite amplitude everywhere on the time scale. So that's why this is stable signal. Okay, so then what about this signal? Okay, if you take the step signal, okay, from t time goes up to infinite, it is having value 1. Okay, what about the nature of this signal? This is also a stable signal because it is having some definite value. Okay, it is having some definite value, but the problem here is if you try to find out the area under this signal, that is not finite because it is going up to infinite. But whereas if you try to find out the area under this signal, this is finite. That's why strictly this is stable signal. But if you find out the area for this one, this is may go to infinite if you try to find out the area. But this is following that condition. What is that condition? At every instant of the time, the amplitude has to be finite. That's why This signal is a stable signal, but there is a special name. This signal is a marginally stable signal. This signal is marginally stable signal. Okay, we'll come to the term marginally stable later. Why this signal is called as marginally stable? Okay, so this signal is called as marginally stable signal because this is the margin between the stable and instability of the signal. If you see later, okay, later we will see the ramp signal. The ramp signal is definitely unstable signal because when time is infinite, the amplitude is infinite. So again the signal is going to infinite. That's why the signal is unstable signal. But again if you see like step signal, if it is constant, that's okay. But if the step uh, slope increases by small amount, what will happen? It is also like a ramp. Okay, so that's why this is something intermediate. This u of t is a intermediate between the stable and unstable. So u of t is a marginally stable signal. Okay, u of t is a marginally stable signal. Okay, so now suppose if some signal is going like this, definitely this is stable signal. Okay, definitely this is also a stable signal. Okay, so if it is like this stable, okay, when it comes like this, it is going to marginally stable. When it goes like this is unstable. This is unstable. So you have to understand that. Okay, when the line is going down, stable. When the line is constant, marginally stable. When the line is going up, unstable. Okay, so next, what about the unstable signal? Unstable signal. Okay, so if the signal amplitude goes to infinite at any instant of time, if signal amplitude goes to infinite at any instant of time, that signal is called as unstable signal. That means what? Amplitude may go to infinite, okay, at some instant of the time, at any instant of the time, at any instant of time, okay, of time, then that signal is called unstable signal. For example, simply, what about the ramp signal? The ramp signal is unstable signal because when you put t is equal to infinite, the amplitude is infinite. So that's why this is unstable signal. That's why this is unstable signal. What about the parabolic signal? Parabolic signal, p of t is equal to t square by 2. Okay, the parabolic signal. What happens when you put t is equal to infinite? The amplitude goes to infinite. That's why this is also a unstable signal. Okay, what about this signal? Okay, suppose for example the signal is like this. The signal is like this. What about this signal? Say for example the x of t is equal to 1 by 2. When you try to plot x of t is equal to 1 by t, it will come like this. What about this signal? Is it stable or unstable? Anybody? What about x of t is equal to 1 by t? Is it a stable signal or unstable signal? Please give me some answer. The 1 by t is a stable signal or unstable signal? You can tell any answer, either stable or unstable. No idea. Okay, so this is the unstable signal. Okay, because when you put t is equal to 0, x of 0 is infinite. That's why this is unstable signal. Okay, it is not necessarily to the amplitude to go to infinite at t is equal to infinite. It is not necessary because we have not given the definition like that. Okay, if that is the case, I would have given the definition like this: amplitude tends to infinite, then when time tends to infinite, then that means unstable. But that is not the definition. What is the definition? Whatever at any instant of the time. Okay, it may be 0 or negative or positive. If at any one of the instant of the time, if the signal goes to infinite, then that signal is called as unstable signal. Because when you try to find out the area for this, okay, you cannot find out. Okay, so that's why this is unstable signal. Okay, so this signal is unstable signal. Okay, what about this signal del t? Impulse signal. Anybody? Again, for impulse, generally in the books they used to confuse actually always. In some book, okay, for the impulse they used to put del t is equal to 1 when t is equal to 0, 0 otherwise. In some other book they used to mention like this, del t is equal to infinite when t is equal to 0, 0 otherwise. Which one is correct? Anybody? Okay, again, we may also have represented the impulse like this. Actually, the impulse actual definition is this one. Okay, actual definition of the impulse is this one, but the area under the impulse could be 1, but the amplitude of the impulse is not 1. So that's why the general impulse function is also a unstable signal. General impulse function is also a unstable signal because at t is equal to 0 this value is infinite. That's why the general impulse function is also a unstable signal. Okay, so next so again our classification on the signals is over almost. Okay, because I think we have started with power and energy classification. I don't know, yes, energy and power signal, and then later we went to periodic and aperiodic signal, then even and odd signal, and then causal and non-causal signal, and then stable and unstable signal. Okay, so then now we'll enter into the classification of systems. Okay, so classification of system. Okay, so we'll see some basics, okay, on the classification of system, then very detailed analysis, detailed classification, we'll see it on the next class. Okay, so next, types of system. Types of system. Okay, before classifying the types of system we should know what do you mean by the system. Okay, what is actually the system, what is the definition of system. A system is something when you give the input it will give some output, but again there will be some mapping between the input and output. It will not give randomly, it will not give the output. Okay, say for example you take your laptop, if you give some input with the help of software or hardware, with the help of your keyboard or mouse, it produces some corresponding output. Okay, because already the system has been designed in such a way that it has to produce that output. So already the designer know what output you need for a particular input, so he has designed the system in such a manner. Okay, so that means what, the system has been already designed, okay, by taking into the consideration of the mapping between the input and output. Okay, mapping between the input and output. Okay, so what do you mean by the system definition? Okay, system, it is a process, okay, a process in which the input signal, a process in which input signal are transformed, input signal are transformed by system. Okay, by the system, input signals are transformed by the system, processed by the system. Okay, by the system, resulting in, okay, resulting in other signal, some new signal, other signal as output, other signal as output. So this is one definition for the system. Okay, so it is doing some process, your system is doing some process. What is that process? It is converting your input signal, that means it is transforming, okay, to a new shape. Okay, you are giving some shape of the signal. Okay, again your system will transform, will modify your shape of the signal. Okay, so shape or any other characteristics of the signal, okay, it can do anything, okay, based on the design. So it is a process in which the input signal are transformed by the system, resulting in the other signal as output. Okay, then what is the other definition for system? That is, system is defined as the mapping between the input and output, because it cannot randomly give the output. Okay, there should be some mapping between the input and output. Okay, so that's why system is defined as mapping between input and output, mapping between input and output. Okay, what is the other definition? Again, in terms of components, okay, how the system has been designed with help of what component. Okay, so again the other definition is about component of the system. System is a interconnection of component or devices or subsystem. System is a interconnection of components. System is a interconnection of components, devices or subsystem, interconnection of subsystem. Okay, for example, you take your laptop or computer. Okay, so your computer involves what? Display, hard disk, RAM, ROM. So again this display, RAM, ROM and all subsystem. Okay, so ultimately it is giving some performance. It is because of the presence of all subsystem. Again that subsystem involves what? Some devices and components. Okay, components like resistor, diode, inductor, capacitor. But again you will not see a physical resistors, inductor and capacitor and all, but everything will be fabricated in IC format, integrated circuits. Okay, maybe in your system, okay, ordinary desktop system, you may see some kind of inductor and capacitor and all. Okay, but most of the time it is fabricated in the chip itself. Okay, so that means finally the system is the interconnection of the subsystem or the interconnection of the various components and devices. Okay, so simply when you give x of t to the system, it transforms. Okay, so x of t is the input to the input to the system. Then the system, this is the system. Okay, this system, when you give input x of t as the input to the system, then it transforms, okay, into a new signal. That new signal we are defining in terms of y of t. Okay, x of t is the input signal, the y of t is the output of the system, that is output signal. Okay, so or otherwise if you are giving x of n, okay, in that case the system will be a discrete system. Okay, the system, because system also could be a continuous system or it could be discrete system. Okay, once if the system is discrete, then if you give discrete signal as input, then you will get some discrete signal as output, that is y of n. Okay, so or otherwise if you take continuous time system, you give x of t as input. Okay, and then you'll get y of t. That y of t is equal to some transformation, some mathematical transformation. Okay, this could be anything: differentiation, integration, or time shifting, scaling, addition, any mathematical operation. Okay, it can do any mathematical operation based on the components present in the system. So that simply we are mentioning like a transformation. Okay, so suppose if it is a discrete time system, when you give input discrete signal as a input x of n, then you will get y of n. Okay, where y of n is some transformation, some mathematical operation of the discrete signal input x of n. Okay, so this is the basics of the systems. Okay, then what are all the classification of the system? Okay, classification of the system, types of the system, classification of system. Okay, so the first one is linear system. First one is linear and non-linear system. Okay, linear and non-linear. I think you might have already seen the linear circuit or non-linear circuit, or linear device, non-linear device. Okay, if the circuit is made up of linear component, okay, then the system will be like linear finally. Okay, sometime if it consists of any of the non-linear element, then finally the system will be non-linear. Okay, so already you would have studied like linearity principle. Okay, that means again in the circuit analysis itself you might have studied this linearity. Okay, that means principle of superposition. Okay, the principle of superposition is something similar to linearity. Okay, you can apply the principle of superposition only when the circuit is linear, or otherwise you cannot apply the principle of superposition theorem in case of circuit. Okay, so the same things are valid here also. So we will see in detail later. So now the first classification is linear and a non-linear system. What is the second classification? Time variant and time invariant. Okay, time variant and time invariant. time variant and time invariant. So actually most of the practical systems are time variant system. Most of the practical systems are time variant system. Okay, what do you mean by time variant system? Because when you give input today, it will give some output. If you give the input after 10 days, it may not give the same output. Okay, there may be little bit difference between the output. You are giving same input, but see, when you are here, okay, today you are giving input, you are getting some output. Okay, so after 10 days, if you are giving some input, you may not get exactly same output. There may be some variation may be there due to the aging of the components. Okay, within 10 days, some components would have deteriorated. Okay, so the performance will go down. That's why the output may not be exactly same. So that means if the system produce different output at a different time for the same input, then that system we will call it as a time variant system. Okay, it produce different output at a different time but for the same input, then that system is time variant system. Or otherwise, if it produce same output, okay, then that system is called as time invariant system. The system will produce same output at a different time when you give the same input, then that system is called time invariant system. Okay, so this is another classification. And then the third classification is stable and unstable system. Okay, stable and unstable system. Again, already we know stable signal. So for a stable system, if you give stable input, then it should produce stable output. Okay, because that is the definition. Okay, to analyze the stability, you want to give the stable input. If you get stable output, then that system is stable. Because if you give unstable input, again the system output also may go unstable, but even though the system is stable. Okay, so that's why when you analyze about the stability of the system, you have to give the stable input and then you have to get the stable output. Then the system is called stable. But when you give stable input, if you get unstable output, then that system is called unstable system. Okay, so the third variety is stable and unstable system. Fourth variety is causal and non-causal system. Causal and non-causal system. That means if the system is causal, in general, all the practical systems are causal system. Okay, all the practical systems are causal system. Okay, so that means when you are giving the input now, it will consider the what is the input that you are giving at this moment. But whereas non-causal system will predict, okay, will do the prediction. Okay, so that kind of predictions and all not possible in case of causal system. So practical systems are like causal system. Okay, so if the system is applying some prediction concept, okay, based on the prediction, if it produces some values, some output, then that is called as, that means the system will consider the past values also. When you are applying input now, okay, it will predict what is the past input. Okay, but you have not applied the past input, but it will predict. Okay, so that means that systems and all called as non-causal system. Okay, non-causal system. So the next one is memoryless and memory system. Okay, memoryless and memory system. Okay, it's very simply, if the transfer function is with respect to time, okay, if the system performance is with respect to time, then that is like memory system. Okay, if it is not involving any time, then that system is called memoryless system. Okay, so the other name for memoryless system is static system. Other name for memoryless system is static system. The memory system is dynamic system. Dynamic system. The another name for memory system is dynamic system. Memoryless system is static system. The final classification is invertible and non-invertible system. Okay, invertible and non-invertible system. Again, this classification is not given in the syllabus. The last classification, the invertible and non-invertible system, is not given in the syllabus, but you may get questions from that also. Okay, what do you mean by that invertible or non-invertible system? Okay, when you are giving x of t as a input, you are having some system. Okay, and again the output of the system is given to the inverse of the system. Okay, the performance of these two systems are opposite to each other, then you may get again x of t as a output. Then these systems, the system is called invertible system, because if you produce one more invertible system here, then you can get back your original signal input. So that is the concept of invertible system. Or otherwise, if you are not able to get your original x of t, then that system is called non-invertible system. For example, if you are having differentiation here, okay, for example, when the differentiation is here, I am giving some 5 as the input. Once if you do differentiation of is 5 is 0, then if you integrate this, what you will get 0 only, but I have to get 5. So that means what? D by dt is non-invertible system. Okay, so because you cannot get your original input. Okay, if you are getting your original input, then this system is called invertible system, but in this case you are not getting, that's why this system is called non-invertible system. So like that you have to analyze whether the system is invertible or non-invertible or not. Okay, even if it fails at any instant of the time, then definitely that system is non-invertible. If it is invertible, okay, it has to work perfectly for all the possible input. Okay, because what I am telling, if I take some other input, say for example x square, okay, what will happen? If you do differentiation, you will get 2x. Then once if you do integration, then you may get x square. That's okay, but for some input it is working, but not for all. That's why the differentiation is non-invertible system. There are some system, they are always invertible. Okay, so when we discuss with the problems, okay, we can understand, okay, which systems and all invertible, which are all non-invertible. Okay. So uh, this is all about the classification of the system. Okay, so in the next class we will see the first classification, linearity and non-linearity of the system. Already you are having some idea in linearity and non-linearity. Okay, see, I can just quickly refresh that, okay, within 2-3 minutes. Okay, then we can leave. So linearity in the sense, suppose if you are having equation y is equal to mx plus c, okay, that means y is equal to 5x, okay, 5x plus 2, and another equation y is equal to 5x. This equation we will call it as a non-linear, but this equation as a linear, because linearity means it is not about only the line, but the line has to pass through the origin. Okay, the equation has to, the line has to pass through the origin. Okay, whenever you write the equations, that has to pass through the origin. So that is possible only if the constant is 0. If the constant is there, the line will not pass through origin. Okay, so that means that system is non-linear system, whereas this system is linear system. And also you know y is equal to x square means non-linear. Okay, because x square, you know already it is non-linear, x square, cube, higher order and all non-linear. And also you know d by, okay, dy by dx, okay, whenever you see dy by dx, okay, even in the differential equation, okay, say for example some equation is there like this, d square y by dx square dy by dx, okay, plus 5y is equal to 0, and there is another equation like this, d square y by dx square dy by dx whole square plus 5y is equal to 0. So but this equation is linear, this is non-linear, because the overall dy by dx we are applying square operation. When you apply the square operation like that, then that will become non-linear. Okay, the higher order differentiation is allowed. Okay, this is higher order differentiation. Higher order differentiation is allowed, but that square operation, overall square operation is not allowed. Okay, if you find out the overall square operation, definitely that is non-linear system. Okay, but this is the linear system. So these are all the some basics that you already know about the linearity and non-linearity. And also one more thing also you might have studied, if the system is linear, it has to satisfy the superposition theorem. Okay, superposition theorem. And then superposition theorem means it involves two components. One is additive theorem, one is additivity principle, and another one is homogeneity principle. Okay, homogeneity principle. If the particular system satisfies both the principle, both additivity as well as homogeneity, that means it is satisfying the superposition theorem. If it satisfies the superposition theorem, okay, then definitely that signal is linear system. That system is linear system. If it is not satisfying any one of the property, then definitely that system is called non-linear system. Okay, that system is called non-linear system. Again, there are some procedures are there how to identify whether the given system is linear system or not. Again, just by observation also we can tell, okay, whether the system is linear or not, but we will go by the procedure. Okay, later we will compare all the system, then we will get the conclusion, okay, just by looking at the system, how to say whether the given system is linear or not. But anyway, exam point of view, you have to go by the regular procedure, okay, because in the exam you will be getting this in the 10 mark or 16 mark question, where you have to go by the regular procedures, okay. But just with the intuitive understanding, okay, you can just compare your result, okay. Finally, what could be the system? It could be either linear or linear. Before solving the question itself, you can identify